have a student, and her husband has like really late stages of Alzheimer's, and she has to deal with that. And I think piano was a really good outlet for her to channel those emotions and still come back to something every single day after seeing her husband. She would come and practice, I know, in the little lounge with the piano.
Welcome to the Health and Piano podcast. Today I have with me Sanjana Arudala. Hi, Sanjana.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem at all. Yeah, I thought it'd be really useful to share your story about the project you did that I found really interesting, which is to promote brain health with seniors through music. So would you like to just give us a bit of background on how this project came about?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, I was just being a high school teenager, and I was looking for volunteer opportunities over the summer. And I came across the senior home, and I just went to the volunteer opportunity, the volunteer orientation, just to see what other people were doing and what kind of opportunities there were. And I looked at the list of opportunities, and nothing really like resonated with me. I didn't really like any of the opportunities there, but I really wanted to come and volunteer. I really liked meeting all of the seniors. And something I mentioned during that meeting was that I played the piano. And of course, that was something that really interested them. And they actually had me play at the orientation, and they said, "Hey, like, why don't you play for the seniors?" And I thought, okay, that would be a good idea. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and there was pianos there in the senior home, and nobody was really using them. And I had some experience teaching piano lessons to young kids at a local music school. So I thought, why don't I combine these two things and bring piano lessons to this senior home? And so one of the biggest struggles initially was finding the correct method to teach seniors, because I know that teaching full-on notes might be something a little challenging for seniors to pick up. And so I went online and I was looking for a method to teach older beginners. And that's when I came across the DecPlay method. And I just sent an email out to you, and you actually responded back, and we had a Zoom meeting, and you told me about your program and how you teach seniors. And then I ended up adapting that in my own way. And then I came every single Saturday to this senior home, and I began teaching piano lessons. So that's how it started.
And how long did you teach them for?
So it's very kind of a fluid sort of thing. So anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, usually. There's no set time, but it's a weekly lesson. So every Saturday I come in, I start at about 1:30 and I go till about 5:36. And I have 6 to 7 students currently that come by every single week. And it's just a really nice sort of thing that I do every Saturday.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I was so impressed when I received your email because I think it's wonderful for young people to be proactive and to create a new project, as it were, rather than just wait for other people just to maybe get the ideas of what to do. So I thought that was great. I also was impressed that you'd reached out, because over the years I've had a lot of help from other business owners that I thought perhaps might not want to give the time or effort to help me. But I just thought, well, I'll just ask. And then, and I've been amazed how many people, and these are some people that run some very big organizations, but I've been amazed how generous they were with their time. So I've always felt that if somebody shows initiative to do something that I think is really worthwhile, then I would like to give them some time. So I was very happy to give you the resources and things. And I was even more impressed with what you did with the resources. So can you talk a bit about how you used the resources? So I'm assuming that you used the DecPlay song sheets, for example, and they're obviously very different from the traditional song sheets, which is how we're able to get them to be more accessible and very quick to use. But in being very different from a traditional song sheets, some people that may have read a bit of music in the past might find them then a bit strange. What was your experience of showing the DecPlay number system to the students?
Yes, a lot of different reactions to that. So there was two significant groups of people that I ran into. And the first group were people who've never touched the piano ever, or they touched it in their childhood, but their childhood piano teacher might have given up on them, or they just didn't really want to play and they gave up on it. So they were complete beginners. And for those people, showing this method and showing them how easy it was, all you have to do is match the numbers. For them, it was amazing. They were like just overjoyed by how quickly they were able to play. And I always start them with Amazing Grace, and they were just amazed by it. The second group was the ones that were a little bit more challenging to convince, because a lot of these people, they've either played in the past and they used to be really good, but now they can't play as well, but they were really used to the notes. And so when I showed them this method, they were a little skeptical at first, because they obviously felt like, hey, like I'm not playing with notes anymore. I'm just doing numbers. And they felt it was not the same. But then I showed them that you're still doing the same things. You're still playing with the chords. You're still playing the melody. It's just a different way to read it. And once they embrace this new method, I think they also found a lot of benefits with it, and they really ended up enjoying it. And so I had a really great experience with this method. And it's so flexible. It's so easy to adapt to everyone's needs and everyone's levels of playing, which I really, really liked.
That's great. And how quickly then were people able to play a recognizable tune?
So I think honestly by the first lesson, so the first lesson I usually just did about 30 minutes, and most people were able to play Amazing Grace. And I also introduced Ode to Joy to most people within that first lesson. And they were just amazed by how fast they were able to pick it up. And it only took about 20, 30 minutes. So,
Fantastic. And then you organized a concert. So can you explain a bit about how that came about and who took part in it?
mhm. So I organized a recital because I just wanted to showcase the work of the seniors. And also, when I was advertising this to the seniors in the senior home, a lot of people didn't really believe that they were actually playing. And so I wanted to show them that, look, this is what they were before, and look at them now. They've made so much progress. And one of the biggest issues was obviously funding. So I applied for a grant through Hershey's, like the chocolate company, and they have these little grants, mini grants for young people. It's called the Hershey's Heartwarming Young Heroes Grant or something. And basically, through that grant, I received $250, and I used that to essentially organize a community recital for the seniors to showcase their work. And I also engaged young volunteers. They were just, I think most of them were in elementary, middle school, very young kids. And they also came and they helped set up. And some of them also ended up playing for all of the seniors there. And they ended up bonding with all of the seniors. And it was just this really nice event. It really promoted intergenerational bonding, which was something that I was really passionate about. And everyone would just love music. And we just got to show that. It was a really beautiful event. And I hope to actually have another one here soon and showcase the work of my new students and hopefully engage more volunteers as well.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. To get young people as well to participate. I think it's fantastic, like you say, to have the intergenerational bonding is really fantastic, because I think everybody benefits from that. I think there's things to be learnt from every generation, and I think the energy as well. I was reading a study recently saying that older people that spend time around much younger people, they have a whole range of mental and health benefits which are measurable. So they feel a bit younger, they have better energy, their spirits are uplifted. But the younger people were measured as well, and they felt better spending time around the older people. And often it takes a couple of generations older, because the people that are, say, the parents or even teachers, that's obviously very great to be around. But sometimes people that are, say, grandparents' age have a different engagement type with younger people, and they sometimes don't have any objective, like a teacher or a parent often has to get something done by a certain time. Whereas older people sometimes have a different type of energy that gives a bit more space for the younger people to feel more relaxed. So yeah, I really think it's wonderful to do that. And so, was there any feedback from the people who played in the concert, or any observations that you had as to how they felt then after they had taken part?
Yeah, so the seniors, for one, they were really happy. They were really proud of themselves because I think a lot of their friends were able to come and they were able to share their progress. And it was just a really nice way for them to show off what they've accomplished. And then they also, one of the big parts of that recital was to engage brain health. So my whole kind of purpose of doing that was to tell people like, hey, it's really important to continue engaging your brain as you age. And this is a really nice way to do that. And so I think a lot of people felt inspired by that. And I actually had a lot more students come in, talk to me, which I thought was really nice from their end. From the younger people, I know a lot of them really enjoyed coming in and seeing all of these people and seeing the impact that their music could have. I know a lot of parents of little children, they came up to me and they said, hey, I'd really love to come back and do this again. I think my child really enjoyed interacting with these people. And so it was just a really nice way to help all of these people interact and promote brain health and music. So yeah.
That's fantastic. And how long was the concert after you started the teaching? So how many weeks of teaching was there before they got to the recital?
So I think it was a few months. I think I started around January and the recital was in April. So like in the beginning when I was teaching, I only had one student and it took a long time for me to convince people. So it was a month of me just having one student. And then over time, I slowly got a few more. And then I think the recital was after a few months because I really wanted them to be confident and just get up there and play what they knew. And it also took some time to organize as well. So it took a few months and then I had more students after that.
But that's amazing to think that there's people gone from not playing at all, or if they have, maybe it was decades before, to playing in front of people just within, was it 2 or 3 months, something like that? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because we know it takes quite a lot of confidence to play in front of people. So were there any nerves from the people playing?
Yes, some of them were really scared. So I know a couple people, they were like, oh, it doesn't matter how I play. These are just all my friends. It's okay. And they were really confident about it. Some people, they were a little bit scared, especially because they had bad experiences with recitals as kids. And so for them, some of them actually stood right next to them and I was just pointing at the notes as they played. And actually, one of them, she mentioned that on her first piano recital ever, many, many, many years ago, she's, I think, 5 or 6, she ran off the stage at her first recital because she was so scared. And she said at the recital, this is my chance to start over. And today I'm going to play all the way through my piece. And she did. She played all the way through and she gave a little curtsy at the end. And she was really happy about that. So that made me really happy to see.
That's an amazing story. And how old is she now?
I think she's in her 80s, late 80s.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, that's fantastic. And what health and wellness benefits do you think has come then from this?
So I've seen a lot of different types of people come in for lessons. So first of all, I see people with all sorts of health conditions, whether it's arthritis, Parkinson's, early stages of dementia. So a lot of things that kind of pull them back from maybe pursuing an extracurricular like playing the piano. But I feel like it really helped them manage their symptoms, even though their arthritis might have been getting worse or their tremors started getting worse because of their Parkinson's. It really gave them like a sense of purpose and a feeling of, hey, I'm still accomplishing things. I'm still getting better. I'm still progressing, which I think was really important. And the second benefit, I think, was just like the mental health aspect of it. So a lot of these people, they have all sorts of stress factors. I have a student and her husband has like really late stages of Alzheimer's and she has to deal with that. And I think piano was a really good outlet for her to channel those emotions and still come back to something every single day after seeing her husband. She would come and practice, I know, in the little lounge with the piano. And I know a lot of people, another student has come up to me and she said, I really feel like I'm progressing, I'm making a lot of progress. And it's given her this sense of like determination. And I really like that as well. So I think definitely huge mental health benefits to doing this for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and our students, obviously, there's quite a few thousand people that are age 60 to 96 that are on the DecPlay course. And in a similar way, we've had a lot of people saying it's boosted their confidence. that either they've always wanted to play piano all their life and they've never been able to have the opportunity to, or they didn't believe that they could, or they did try before and they really struggled. So to then achieve their dream of playing piano in their 70s, 80s, 90s, it makes them think, well, what else have I thought that I couldn't do that I can do? So it's been a massive confidence booster across all areas of their life. And also, as you say, a lot of people are able to channel emotions then if they use it as a relaxation thing and to boost their creativity. And we've had people who have lost their partner and have been in grief, and they've said it's brought joy back into their life. And then the physical side, the arthritis, there's people who have been able to stop taking their anti-inflammatories because over the movement of their fingers has then improved the joints. So yeah, a whole range of different physical, mental, and emotional benefits of playing piano. But one of the biggest ones, which I didn't expect when I started the DecPlay course, is the social side of it. So this has just evolved over time. And what we found is the students wanted to engage with other students, not just to ask a question about piano, but just to share their progress and then also just make friendships. So with other people sharing the same journey. So this has really evolved into with an amazing spirit. And I encourage people to share on there anything that is going to put a smile on the faces of other members. So it's not just playing piano, but it could be whatever other hobbies they have. Some people paint or they do gardening, or it could be them with their grandchildren or their pet. And it's wonderful to see the goodwill coming from the other members. And then we have people who are having some medical treatment or they're in hospital, and the amount of goodwill and messages that come from other members, it really boosts the spirits. So that's been something unexpected that I think has helped not only help them to learn piano better because they have more motivation to practice and play and share videos of them playing with the group, but on just a social side of having interaction with like-minded people sharing the same journey, that's been really wonderful. And we've also set up a buddy scheme now where people can apply to be joined up, a bit like the old pen pal system, which might be before your time, I don't know. But in my day when I was at school, this is before email and anything like that existed. If you wanted to make a friend, you would be paired up with somebody, often in a different country, and you would write to them. And in a similar way now, because we've got a few thousand members in 72 countries, people can choose to be linked up with one or a small group of people, either in the locality or abroad. And that social connection then, sharing the journey and making friends is something that's really transformed their joy of life and also their ability to play piano. And that's something I never envisaged when I started.
Yeah, and I've really seen that as well here, just because they all live together in this little community. I've really seen that sort of sharing aspect as well. I know one of my students will come to lesson and they'll be like, hey, I saw so-and-so playing Largo from the New World Symphony. Can you please give it to me next lesson? And I'm like, yes, of course. And then I bring it, and then they both kind of share each other. They both kind of play for each other, and they'll say, oh, maybe try using the pedal here, maybe try this fingering. And I really see that sort of community here as well. And I really love that they're really engaging with one another and talking about music.
That's fantastic. Well, I think you're doing an amazing job, and anything that myself and the team here can do to help, we're more than happy to do. So you have full access to the entire library, have you? I think I gave you login.
Yes.
Great. So I think there's over 500 song sheets in there now. So yeah, that's well, you're doing an amazing job, and I'd love to see more of future concerts and any feedback that you have. So if you have any message for anybody, first of all, who is say your age, that is thinking of maybe volunteering in some area, have you got any advice for them?
Yeah, so my first thing is to just go for it. I know we talked a lot about the benefits that it's had on all of the seniors and the community, but one thing we haven't really talked about is how much it's had on me, the impact that it's had on me. And I think it's just so rewarding to be able to volunteer and do something like this because at the end of the day, you can look back and you can see, oh, these people, they didn't have access to piano lessons before. None of these people really thought that they could play music. And then when you see them progressing and you see them so happy and you know that, yeah, I played a role in helping them, it really makes you feel good. And these people, they're really grateful for me as well. And they're always thanking me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming here. And it's so rewarding to come here. And it makes me come back every single Saturday just to see their smiles and them progressing. I would say if you're interested in volunteering, whether that's in music, whether that's anywhere, please go for it. Don't be afraid to reach out. You might just receive help from whoever you reach out to. So take initiative, just put yourself out there, and just don't be afraid to make the first step is what I would have to say.
That's great. And perhaps we should have a chat after this about if somebody wanted to do a similar project, they don't really need to have a huge amount of piano training because the DecPlay system is so simple. Perhaps we could jointly, if you were to be able to put maybe a little, just a checklist or a guide or some information sheet that somebody could use to then know how do they go from not knowing how to teach somebody piano through to teaching somebody piano. Again, we can give the same resources, the song sheets and things, and also videos showing the method. But I think people probably don't realize how easy it is. Certainly, if you already play piano, then that gives you some head start, I suppose. But in your view, how easy would it be for somebody that doesn't even play piano to spend a bit of time just learning the DecPlay method and then applying it? How easy do you think that would be?
I think it would be fairly easy. I mean, it's not too challenging to pick up. Your guides are very clear and they're straightforward. So I think anyone can pick it up. And I also know that a lot of many years ago, that I mean, everyone's had those childhood piano lessons. Even if you quit, a lot of people have played for even a couple of months. And just that experience is, I think, enough to bring this. And even if you don't come to a senior home and volunteer all of your time, I think it's just something really nice that even if you have a grandparent and you just want to spend some time with them, it would be a really fun way to connect over the piano and just connect over music. I think it's very easy to pick it up, even if you don't have any experience, even if you have very limited experience. The DecPlay method is one that's very easy to adapt and use.
What we'll do, I'll put a link when we publish this podcast video. I'll put a link in the notes and we'll point to some resources that we'll give free to help people do exactly that. And I'll put a link somewhere on this video. But if you go to decplay.com/free, there'll be more information there on these health and piano podcasts and on what we're talking about here on the free lessons and things. But I think, yeah, that'd be wonderful to enable young people to understand that they can actually become a piano teacher really easily. And of course, this isn't just for older people. This would apply if you're teaching young children as well. But I also then think it's wonderful because we're seeing the effect that it has on people of learning piano seems to be more profound later in life. And it can be really life-changing and have a whole range of health benefits, which are greater, I think, for the older people than they would be. For younger people, it's lovely to play piano. It's great fun, but sometimes it's probably not as life-changing as it would be for somebody who is older. So I would highly recommend anybody who has got if this sparks any level of interest, then to follow your example and maybe just give it a go.
Yeah.
And then if older people are watching this, have you got any advice for somebody who thinks, oh, that's fine for other, but I can't learn piano, I'm too old, or I've tried before and I can't do it? What would you say to them?
I think with my students, one of the biggest thing that I've seen is success isn't about the amount of talent that they have or the amount of time that they put in. A lot of it is about the mindset. if you go into playing piano with the mindset that, hey, I can do this, you will learn how to play. Yes, it might take you some time. Yes, you might have some obstacles, but if you really love music and you really just want to do it and you have an open mind, you can definitely do it. It's very straightforward and there's a lot of options for you, especially with the DecPlay method. There's a lot of ways to simplify music. It doesn't matter what kind of experience you have, what kind of background you have with music. Anyone can do it. So I would also say go for it. Just give it a try and see if you like it.
Fantastic. Is there anything else which you think that I should have asked that I haven't asked?
I think you covered a lot. You really talked about my journey from my initial stages of having one student to all the way to now, and kind of future directions as well. So I'm really thankful for your guidance and your mentorship as well in this whole journey. I'm so glad that you responded to that first email that I just put out there with no expectations. And I'm just really happy with how far this has come.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to help. And I think it's really wonderful to see your proactivity and your kindness in actually giving your time and volunteering. But I think it's really wonderful to see how, like I say, what progress you've made in such a short time. And lots of people might think of doing things, but perhaps they don't have the confidence to actually step forward and do it. But you absolutely have. And I think you are changing a lot of lives for the better. So well done, you.
Thank you so much.
Right. So, yeah, we'll put some information in the notes of the podcast. And I look forward to hearing updates on future concerts.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for the call. See you now.
Bye.
For more information on the Health and Piano podcasts and to get some free tips on learning piano later in life, go to decplay.com/free.